You know that Kafka story where the guy wakes up to discover he's a giant bug? It's almost like I woke up one day and discovered I was teaching grade 6 at Abbotsford Christian School. I didn't plan on being a teacher, and I didn't expect to live in Abbotsford. But now here I'm teaching the children of my first students. Back then, Mr. Cameron was still working for this school, and when I looked out from my classroom window, I could see the old building sitting in the parking lot. The same building where the first classes of ACS were held 60 years ago. That building is gone now, but not everything is gone. What's still here is Abbotsford Christian School. It's a school that understands that we live in an incredible world and that God made it for us. The more we experience it, the more the awe, and the awe, and the ooh. We know that the world and everything in it is distorted by sin, but we don't believe that we can build a wall between good and evil, because we'd have to run a wall through every human heart. Because there is nothing in this world that God didn't make and call good, we continue to explore, experience, and evaluate all of life. We want to equip students to live in a world, but not be of the world. To be the living sacrifice that keeps climbing off the altar and be sacrificed again and again. We want to have transformed lives that God can use to transform His world, perhaps the big world, but certainly many smaller ones. Our talents and abilities are gifts from God, and we help our students to unwrap them so that they can give them away to others. All of us are good at some things, but none of us are good at all things. And our limitations are gifts too. So we celebrate them as well, because it means we need someone else, and that's a good thing. Unique abilities and particular limitations mean our learning has to be custom fit for each particular unique and beautiful child. So we build and bake, compare and contrast. We audio and we video, compute and calculate, process, jump, shoot, race, dance, act, sing, paint, design, engineer, collaborate, and present. We believe that everyone has a calling, not just missionaries, everyone. The butcher and the baker, the farmer and the framer, the nurse and the number cruncher, and the mom. At Abbotsford Christian School, we seek to nurture a robust faith in God that lasts a lifetime. And not just a Sunday faith, but a Monday morning and a Saturday night faith too. We believe that nothing can be truly known unless we first know that Jesus is the Lord of all that is.
He is the order in the universe that makes math and physics work.
He is the real presence in spaces between the words in our languages.
He is the deep beauty in art that holds the pigments to the canvas.
And buoyant beauty in music that swirls in the harmonies.
History is the story of His faithfulness and the profound human need for it.
Literature is our imaginative expression of our need for grace.
Science is the story that creation keeps on telling.
In home ec and shop, the
stuff of His creation is rearranged with creative hands.
And in Bible classes, we hear the story of His search for His lost sheep.
We love the good news, and we live the gospel. We pray and we sing together. We talk about missions, modesty, marriage, and movies. Apologetics and theology, masculinity and femininity, world religions and personal relationships, service and social justice, not just in Bible classes, but in every class, and not in every class, but in every office, hallway, at lunch, and on the bus. We know that the line between home and school is just a dotted line, and we want to spice the conversation of your dinner table, and have your dinner conversations to inform the class discussions the next day. In giving, we serve, and in receiving, we are grateful. We are an enriching community, and we are enriched by our community. So we are thanked, and we say thank you. We haven't changed why we do what we do, but we have changed how we do things. If you fill out a blank on a worksheet, you end up with a completed worksheet. But when you look with curiosity at the blanks of your own understanding, you want to fill them. And after you're done, you realize you've only just begun. We explore God's world not just with books, and not just with new technologies, because real learning is beyond the pages and gigabytes. It involves your own creativity, and the voice of your neighbor, and then an awareness that it is all held in God's hands. When kids just sit in desks and listen, they know only as much as the teacher knows. But when they build or shape, seek or open, touch or turn, they teach the teacher. Teachers aren't just tellers and talkers who run ahead of the child, but rather they walk alongside asking, but also listening. We aren't scared of the big questions because we have a God who's bigger than any question. And our questions don't simply lead to the odd-numbered answers on page 143. We ask enduring questions, the ones that take a lifetime to ask, let alone answer.
What if I was all alone in the world?
Why did God make mosquitoes?
Why does order matter?
Why does matter order?
The walls of Abbotsford Christian School are full of windows and doors, and we want the great things that happen within the walls to flow out into the world. So we care for those who are hungry and thirsty and tired and worried and sad and lonely. Because to be truly human means to love one another as we were first loved. Together we are salt and light in our world. We compete with students from other schools, not just to win, but to represent. We work with those from other schools too because we care about our city and its neighborhoods, our province and our nation, and we work for their flourishing. We are also ambassadors. We've been to Korea and Zambia, gone to France and Nicaragua, and soon we'll be in Japan. We allow ourselves to be challenged by diversity and difference, and are no longer surprised when we find our brothers and sisters. We are not just Christian livers, but Christian leaders. And leadership is not just about power or influence, it's about serving others, bringing out the best in others for the good of the community, and all our communities. We don't just read the book, we affirm the book when it tells us something true. We resist the book, the same book, when it's got it wrong and claims that there is no light in the darkness, or that our identity is found only in our choices. We don't worship the God of the gaps because there are no gaps. Wherever a bean sprouts up or an apple falls down, He is there. When the rain falls and the animals go 2 by 2, He is there. We don't just watch the movie, we argue with it when it insists again and again that true love is salvation or that violence is the best response to evil. We don't just swallow everything the internet has to tell us because we know how to ask it the right questions. It's not just what you can do or what you know, but who you are that really matters. We encourage our children to be open-minded because a closed mind is one that knows that miracles are impossible. And by the way, open-minded is a way of being, not a position on one particular issue. And we learn that too. We don't just learn about injustice, we do our part to promote justice. We don't just study diagrams in the textbook, we make our own diagrams from data we collect. We don't just learn about sustainability, we prepare and serve and eat a banquet of sustainable food. Lessons about simple machines become a project about making life easier for a friend in a wheelchair. It's not just about passing the test at the end of the unit, it's about how we can be faithful, discerning, obedient, creative servants of God and neighbor, and stewards of His creation. It's about how we can be more like Christ. It's about how we can be a human being. This means that we study the box so we can think outside the box. We aren't a marching band, we are a jazz band. We are as at home in an ivory tower as we are in the trenches. Not just disciplined, but also dynamic. Oh, we are book smart, but we're also street smart. We aren't about what to think, but about how to think. We are as wise as serpents and as innocent as doves. We are grounded, but also groundbreaking. We are a school that celebrates. We celebrated 50 years, we are celebrating 60 years, and we will celebrate 70 years if the Lord wills it. We celebrate every year. We celebrate every once in a while. We celebrate teddy bears and the number 100. We celebrate learning, gifts, each other, personal bests, friends, our stories, and God's faithfulness in and through it all. This is Abbotsford Christian School today.
We can't wait to see what He has in store for us tomorrow.